All right. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Bad.
I am the...
I'm everyone.
I...
Hello.
I am the Hat Man, and I'm here with the Rat Man. How you doing, man? I'll take that as you're doing good.
No, I already said that. I already answered this question.
Oh, you were everybody. Okay. My bad.
Welcome to this wonderful disaster. Here we go.
All right, let's cut to the chase. So recently we just got we got news that Hugo Martin is most likely going to give the full auto a buff.
We shouldn't have done that full auto.
And I've it's just one of those things where I've
Sticky Bomb Gang, motherfucker.
Oh, you're part of the Sticky Bomb Gang?
Sticky Bomb Gang. Listen, full auto is
Sticky
cool.
Bomb Gang.
It's hard to be full auto gang in its current state, but if they buff it, maybe I'll change sides. You know what I mean? Betray my people.
Okay, well this will be interesting because I would consider me more full auto than Sticky Bomb. I don't think I've used Sticky Bomb in, like, all of the DLC.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I use it a lot in certain parts of Super Gornest Master level, so that's why me and him became friends, is because there's certain parts that he helps me out with. So, and I never use full auto.
Yeah.
So, and also I love feeding Kako demons their lunch. So,
you like killing them that way?
That's only a sticky. I never use. It's too hard to angle the grenades, and I can never switch fast enough or think about it. So it's always Sticky Bomb Gang for feeding Kakos.
Gotcha. I stopped using Sticky Bombs, and I guess to a lesser extent full auto once I get like the Super Shotgun and the Ballista, because with Kako Demons, my favorite is just Ballista, Meat Hook, Super Shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah,
I like Arbalist.
Or Arbalist, yeah. I mean, I use full auto. I mean, full auto is really great. Again, early game, my favorite combo is grenade plus full auto.
For the Arachnotrons,
it's mainly for the Arachnotrons, and then once I get the Salvo Extender, that's when I start using it in terms of like if I want to clean up some fodder and I want to just not use any ammo, that's one way to do it. And then like just have your shotguns refilled. But yeah, I will admit it would be nice if I used it more, but
well, listen, I have identified the two reasons why full auto sucks. Number one, it's mobility. It slows you down. Anything that slows you down in Doom Eternal is hard to use unless it's I've claimed these, like, there's a spectrum to weapons. I claim them as like good position weapons and bad position weapons and mods. So like a good position weapon would be like your lesser, not as good mod. Like I would say that a bad position mod for a console player would be like the precision shot for the the precision shot, and then a bad position mod would be like the shield mod for the Gatling gun. And then also the utility of it, like some, that goes along with good position, bad position mods. But most guns fall somewhere on the spectrum. But like there's no use for full auto after that can't be fulfilled by some other means in the arsenal after a certain point. You know what I mean?
It's not. I'll agree. It's not the best. It's not in the meta. It's not the best like weapon in the arsenal, but it does have a niche, and it's that if when you're good at the game, it's fun to use. It's kind of like, okay, I want to replay the game, but you know what? I'm gonna limit myself a little bit.
Yeah.
And like, it's not like full auto is like a pitiful weapon. Like you can get it to work.
Right.
I mean, there's countless videos of people getting it to work. I've replayed the game on a lower difficulty, to be fair, but I was able to make it work. Like, I played a run where like, okay, I'm not allowed to use the super shotgun. I'll use full auto.
Sure.
It was ultra violence, and I got it to work. So yeah, it's not the best weapon, but it's definitely usable, and it definitely has its own identity. Where like each weapon in the sandbox plays a specific role, and I feel like the full auto's role is a finishing weapon thanks to this salvo extender.
Sure, but see the problem with that is it gives back ammo, which you could get from a chainsaw. So it's like, and you're only getting shotgun ammo. So it has like a utility, but I feel like that utility is fulfilled by other roles when meat hook super shotgun is so unique, or like ballista or rockets. Both of those mods for those weapons they're all like for situations, but like never am I like, I need more shotgun ammo. I guess I'll pull out my, I'll just use the chainsaw, because things, especially when it slows you down that much. Which, listen, I have a whole list of ideas. So it's like to more carve out like where the super shotgun lies for meta purposes, and also like cool factor, like fun to use sort of thing. Because right now it's like it's cool, but it's not fun to use at all. I don't think. Like it could be more fun to use, and there would be a reason to use it.
It could be more fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I would argue against it not being funny. It's fun to use. I couldn't argue with it could be a little more effective.
Right.
But
or carve out more of a utility.
For the sake of this discussion, here's how we'll set it up. So you say you have a list of stuff you would like to change, and maybe some stuff that like maybe you've heard other people mention that you might think is a good idea. I have like one crazy idea, but when I imagine it in my head, it sounds so satisfying. So
all right, let's start. We'll go back and forth. Let's start with feasible ideas, because I have feasible ideas and outlandish ideas in different categories.
How about you just go through all of yours, and then I'll save mine for last.
Okay, you want to do that?
Okay.
You don't want to go back and forth?
I think mine's because I have not heard anybody mention what I'm about to mention.
Okay.
Like maybe something similar, but like nothing exactly what I'm thinking of.
All right.
But go ahead and go through your list of what we're both game developers. We're changing full auto. Yeah. We're in charge. What would you do?
Okay, I gave myself some restrictions on what I needed out of the buffs. So it needs to be cool. It needs to be unique. Mm-hmm. It needs to utilize things that are already in the game, as in like not really like much coding needs to be done, and it can't break the game unless it's like some of my outlandish ideas might be like game changing. You know what I mean? Okay. Actually, not break the. Some of these might break the game, but like try not like nothing like super overpowered. You know what I mean? And also, not all of these are like maybe considered buffs, but like give the weapon some more uniqueness. Okay. So
exactly.
Here's my first feasible idea. Kills from the shotgun refill your chainsaw-pip, and that potentially, like you're like, that maybe that's not as good, but maybe you could refill a pip at any chainsaw level, and like, so like if you're at 2 pips, you can refill that last third pip with the full auto shotgun.
How exactly mathematically? Well, here's my question. If that was in the game, how would that would mathematically work? Would that be like, would I immediately kill someone with the full auto, or is it like a certain number of shots have to land before the pip comes back?
I'm willing to debate. I would say the damage increase like speeds the time up for the pip. So the more damage you deal with it, the faster your pip goes.
Oh, so wait, so like, are we talking about just the first pip, or are we talking about the additional 2 pips where like those two don't recharge naturally? Are you saying like the recharge like speeds up when you use full auto, or
this is a consideration. I have this in like parentheses. So for the original idea, it's the first pip. It just makes the first pip speed up. But another idea is like once it's fully upgraded, is that if you're at 2 pips, normally you'd have to pick up a gas can to fill that 3rd pip. But you could instead with this, you could actually use the full auto to refill that 3rd pip without picking up a pickup. But only 1 pip at a time.
Only 1 pip.
Yeah.
At a time. So like per shot every time you use, or like if it refills, like you have to wait till you use the chainsaw to make the pip come back with the full auto. Is that how does... Well, what keeps me from just spamming it twice?
What do you mean?
And getting 2 pips? Like,
it doesn't instantly refill pips. It just speeds up the time that the pip refills.
So I'm not talking about the first pip. I'm talking about the other 2 pips that don't recharge. They come back once you pick up a fuel can. Are you saying like there'd be like a separate refill, like an invisible refill in the background that like when you're shooting with the full auto it recharges?
It would show the
pip?
recharging. It would be like the first pip, but like it would scale with your damage. It wouldn't be automatic like over time. It would actually just like show you in real time the damage you're dealing out and how close that pip is to being done. But but as soon as you pick up a gas can, it uses that pip spot if it's not full. You know what I mean? So you have to you have to fill up the pip completely with the full auto, and then if you once you fill up 1 pip, you have to pick up a gas can before you can fill up the pip again or something like that. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So if I'm refilling the 2nd or 3rd pip,
or there's a cooldown on pip refills.
I'm imagining visually, like in terms of giving feedback to the player. So like normally there's no transparent colored like liquid. I'm gonna call it a liquid visual showing the recharge of the chainsaw. It's there for the first pip, but it's not there for the 2nd pip.
Yeah.
I'm imagining that shows up when you use the full auto.
Right. I'm
assuming it'd be a different color.
It would just be that. No, it would just be that on the pip. Like it would just be. Okay. It would just look like the first pip filling up, but on another pip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you addressed this. And I just completely didn't understand it. But so what if I use the full auto and I fill it up halfway?
Right.
I'm like I already have the first pip and it's halfway through the 2nd pip. Yeah. What if I chainsaw somebody? Does that half carry over to the first pip?
No. I don't think so. I think it would negate it.
It would negate it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you have to complete it. See, like basically it's for refilling the first pip, but if like you're between rooms, you're just like cleaning up some fodder in between rooms and have like, what Hugo calls easy fights. Like then you could use that time to refill another pip. So It's basically I would call it a good position weapon, where it's like you're in a good place, you're just kind of having fun, you want to refill a pip, you can't find it, just before your next fight, like getting ready for a fight. Or if you're in the middle of a fight and you're like you already are full on health and stuff like that, you can pull out the full auto and start, if all you need is ammo, you pull out the full auto, you start getting your pip back so you can get back in the fight.
Gotcha. Okay, then here's my next question. How many shots does it take to fill up a pip?
Listen, that we're getting too finite. You know what I mean? Because that would take a lot of some balancing. You know what I mean? Just
because I'd have I mean, if I was rolling with that and I would say like, okay, if we're going with that decision, I would say it takes like how many seconds? Like 5 or 7 seconds for the chainsaw to refill anyway, but automatically for the first pip. I think it's like 5 or 7 seconds.
I think it's longer. Should I look it up?
It's a little longer. Maybe how about this? You don't have to look it up, but like, what if we just made it like slightly longer than if you fire the full auto like continuously, it would take slightly longer than like the average chainsaw recharge. Like you want to make it slightly harder because
if you're filling up another pip, is that what you're saying? That it's slow?
No, the first.
The first pip
for
slower.
the second. Oh no. That's not what I meant. The second pip. I said the first pip.
The second pip is hard to get, and it scales with damage. So there's a lot of damage that needs to be done before you can get that It's more like I said, it's a good position weapon where it's like you're in a good place to start filling up that second pip. It's not going to be easy because that's like, you know,
okay.
That you don't want to break the game, you know what I mean? But you want to buff it. So,
yeah, exactly.
So if you want more pips, you know, that's a good reason for someone to use that. You know what I mean? And it's not just shotgun ammo, it's refilling a pip, which is a lot more useful, I think, than just shotgun ammo.
All right, very nice. All right.
So you like that.
Let's move on. I like that. Yeah, if it was implemented correctly, yeah. All right.
It would make you use the shotgun. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get you to use the full auto more.
And we're assuming nothing else changes about it.
Right. All of these are single changes, and some of them could be combined, but like most of my ideas are just one single thing, get you to use the chainsaw, or not chainsaw, but the shotgun.
If I use the shotgun,
yeah.
Okay. All right. Next one. What's the next one?
Okay. So there's a big problem with mobility, and so if we're leaning into the disabling mobility, I would say while firing the full auto, while going hammer, you gain damage resistance. So you could throw yourself in the middle of the fight, pull out the full auto, and just go full Rambo. You know what I mean? And you're not... The problem is you die so quick when you're so slow like that, but it kind of leans into the gameplay of just kind of feeling like a tank. You know, kind of like a tanky gameplay style. Which is kind of you kind of started with the shield mod for the Gatling gun, and then so a person could play tanky. You know what I mean? They could pull out the full auto, do a bit of tankiness, then get out of there with the shield mod, and not immediately die because they were so vulnerable.
Okay, that sounds all right. The only problem I would see with that is like, I mean, I don't think I'd have a problem with it, but I would imagine like people like Under the Mayo and like other people that have like trained to like deal with that movement speed, like that
sure.
like downside of that weapon.
It would entice
they would feel like
high level players.
Yeah, it would be like, oh, I did all that work in terms of like, okay, I instead of like charging in, I have to like move diagonal in an aerial movement or something, like all this crazy stuff. I don't know. I mean, it sounds good for like players like me, but I would imagine like high level players would be like probably wouldn't like that.
Well, listen, I would consider this a bad position mod, like the shield mod. Even good players end up in a bad situation, so you have this kind of on the back burner in case you get cornered, and then you pull out the full auto and just go ham. So I think there is utility to it.
Okay,
but again, we're just trying to buff it, so there's a reason to use it. I mean, a high level player could find more reason, even if they're like really fast and stuff like that, a reason to use the full auto. If just for the damage resistance, if they're in a bad place, kind of like the shield mod.
Yeah, I'm just saying in terms of like their investment in like dealing with the slowdown.
Yeah,
I mean, they'll figure out how to adapt to it. But I'm just saying, like, that might be a bummer to some people if they're like, oh, I mean, maybe I'd have to see how it's implemented.
That is kind of an idea to not change the core mechanic of the mod, but make it usable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
okay,
that one's a maybe.
Next, yeah, let's go to your next one.
Okay, so another thing to address mobility. Now we're gonna give the full auto shotgun more mobility. While in the air, you have a large knockback effect or a hover effect. So basically, a lot of high level players use the ballista to kind of ballista jump. And my idea is, if you're using full auto in the air, either you like you can use it as a jetpack. You know what I mean? Like the knockback, like continuously pushes you back, or like you kind of hover in the air. And the reason I kind of picked this is, number one, for high level players, for speedrunners in the beginning of the game, have some kind of way to do skill jumps and be faster. And also, it will teach the player to stay in the air, because on the ground you're super slow with it, but in the air you're quick and you can move around with it. But the only problem with it is it would require a bit more skill than like what your normal day one player would. But they could stay on the ground and they're still going to get the same the same auto shotgun. It's just in the air where things start to get kind of crazy, which I don't really see people using the full auto in the air anyways. So it would be kind of a cool thing to.
I'd argue more. I would argue I use it more in the air because again you're fast. I mean, even without this, like in the base game, you're faster in the air with it anyway. Because you only slow down when you're walking, and when you're jumping, like it's normal speed. So that's when I use full auto.
Kill your like momentum though? Does it kind of like knock you dead in the air?
What? Not really. No, it only kills my momentum once I hit the ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we're playing into the mobility in the air sort of deal.
Yeah. The only problem with the knockback is if I'm trying to maneuver through the air, I can imagine the knockback kind of like ruining, because like this is a close up weapon, and I kind of don't want to like be pushed away from my target while I'm shooting, because the farther I'm away, the less damage it does.
Well,
I mean, unless the spread gets fixed. If the spread is fixed so that like the spread is like more concentrated, maybe that wouldn't be a problem. But
so
anyway,
I think it would be like the ballista, where you're only gonna really get that effect if you're moving in that direction. You know, if you're holding backwards and shooting the mod, then you're gonna get that like really super knockback effect. If you're going forwards,
even if it's slight,
so if you're moving forwards, you're gonna get the hover effect. If you're trying to move backwards, you're gonna get the knockback effect.
So what if I'm just like, what if I'm just going sideways? Like, would it knock me back a little bit, or?
Yeah, it's gonna have a slight. I think it's gonna be like the ballista. Do you notice the ballista knockback when you're jumping side to side? Not really.
The thing with the ballista is that it's a rail gun that works at any distance. So like even if it pushes me back, like it's doing the same amount of damage, as opposed to the full auto shotgun, where like, okay, I start using it, and then let's say we implement that knockback, it's gonna start slowly taking away some of my damage, because the shotgun does more damage the closer you are.
Well,
that's the drawback.
Listen,
of that.
it would be slight unless you're pointing in the back direction. You know, and then you get the hover effect where you can kind of stay in that range, and then hover in the air. It's a very experimental idea, but it would be easy to do. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It would be fun to play around with, because then it's like you can have some mobility to it, and then like I said, high level players have a reason to use it in speedrunners and stuff.
Sure.
Consider the people. Do you want to give one?
Consider the people.
Do you want to give one of your outlandish ideas before I go into mine?
I'm gonna say mine till the end. We are getting low on time, so how many more do you have on your list?
I have 2 more.
Just out of curiosity.
I have 2 more.
You have 2 more.
Yeah.
All right, knock them out. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll give you the less outlandish one. But kills give damage resistance for 5 seconds, or damage boost for 5 seconds. Kind of like multiplayer, how like the Marauder can use, like he gets that armor effect. So instead of like the damage resistance while you're firing the gun, you get 5 seconds of damage resistance after a kill, or a damage boost. So you can like kill something and then switch to your good weapons, and then like really output the damage. You know what I mean?
Okay, so I guess it kind of ties into your like tanky one, or the defensive one anyway.
No, this is not a defensive one. This is just like wrap up a kill, and then get the buff, and then switch to another gun sort of deal. Or continue to use the gun. The damage resistance would be kind of
that's what I meant,
the tankiness. Yeah. The damage boost would be an offensive.
Is this both at the same time? Or
No,
are you
no. It's like one or the other.
Which one?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I meant with the resistance. Okay. I'd be fine with that as long as that's an upgrade and not like part of the default, because I don't want to play Hell on Earth and then just be able to melt everybody with the full auto and not have to worry about
These are all end of the line sort of deals. These are all, instead of the giving you shotgun ammo for the full mastery of it, it gives you one of these.
Okay.
So you're cool with that one. You kind of like that. How instead of
I'd be okay with it. I would have to see like how the mathematics work. Like I can imagine it. I can see it being implemented wrong, and it'd be so broken.
Right. But, yeah.
But I'd be open to it.
Okay.
All right. What's
my
your
last outlandish idea. This is also taking something from battle mode. Your shotgun has incendiary rounds, which when it kills a demon, it leaves a pool that does damage over time, and the larger demons leave a larger pool, and potentially people in the demons that go in the pool also catch on fire.
Oh, so would they drop armor since they're on fire?
Potentially. That's a bit overpowered, but my initial idea is that you kill a demon, he'll like either like a corrosive shot or a flame shot, and then like when he dies, he leaves a puddle of AoE damage.
Yeah.
So, and then the larger demons do more damage, bigger pool. So if you finish off a kill of a bigger demon, or like, imagine having a marauder fight and then shooting like a bunch of fodder, and then the marauder goes over where the fodder is, and then he starts taking damage. I mean, that's pretty.
Ooh.
That's pretty. You could get a few hits off of him just by make it.
That
kind of.
That sounds neat,
you're kind of like the cyber mancubus, I would say, but you kill fodder. And
I mean, you're basically setting traps.
Yes.
By
area of denial, but for the Slayer. That's my most outlandish idea. But they have that effect for battle mode demons like the Archvile and the Pain Elemental. So I don't see why they couldn't implement it for kills and stuff like that. Anyways, that would be pretty. That would be pretty fun, and I think that's pretty unique.
All right, I'd say if I had to vote on like any of those, I'd say your last one with the fire traps is like, that sounds like the most fun. Mm-hmm. The only downside to it is like that might not be the simplest thing to like add to the game.
Outlandish. That's why it's in the outlandish category.
If I had to pick one of your safe ones, I'd have to say the chainsaw.
Right, just upgrade the shotgun ammo to Chainsaw-pip.
Yeah, because you haven't messed with the full auto, like in terms of like people like Under the Mayo spending their time mastering it. Like the mechanics are still there. It's just that additional benefit.
Right. It's like I think it's a better reward for using it.
Yeah. All right. You ready for my idea?
Let's get to the goodies. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to start with the most. I won't call it outlandish. This is it's definitely programmable. But it might be. I imagine once I say this, you might think this is overpowered. But when I imagine in my head, I don't think it is. So to set it up, so what do we want the full auto to do? I want to keep as much of it the same so that people that are in love with it don't think it's been kind of ruined by a buff. So I'm keeping everything the same, but I'm only adding one thing to it. Mm-hmm. And the purpose I want this to accomplish is, so what's fun about Doom Eternal? Doom Eternal is the most fun when you're weapon switching. I don't want to like just buff this one weapon and then just make it an incentive to like, okay, I'm just going to use the full auto and that's it to melt somebody. I want to incentivize the player to use it in a combo and like be satisfied when you're done with the combo. So here's the plan. Let's upgrade Salvo Extender. So Salvo Extender gives you a certain number of shells based off of like what class of enemy you kill. Mm-hmm. What if we'll keep that, but let's add on top of that, we'll make it a separate upgrade. We'll call it ammo gimme back. And what it is you get, if you do a bunch of combos on, or if you use other weapons on a demon and then you finish with the full auto, it will, if you successfully do it, instead of finishing with the super shotgun, which is easier, if you go the harder route, which is with the full auto, you are rewarded with getting all the ammo that you dumped into that enemy back.
Okay,
So
I'm liking the piñata aspect of this, where you kind of fill the piñata and then you burst it with the full auto.
Exactly. So, for example, you're fighting a tyrant. You shoot a rocket. You shoot a ballista. You shoot a few rounds of heavy cannon or whatever, and then you finish with full auto. I mean, it's more than that, but you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. You get the shell reward, and then you get all that back. Like in my opinion, that'd be like that. I would feel so good if I did that. Like, because it's riskier to do it that way, because it's easier to just finish them off the super shotgun or another weapon.
Right.
But if you go the full auto route, boom. And then here's the crazier aspect. You're probably gonna say this is too much, but I'm still gonna go with it. BFG ammo counts.
Okay, now you're getting too crazy with that. I think you're on the right track. I think you're on the right track. You're on the right track with this. This is kind of my Chainsaw-pip idea, but I like it more because it makes you want a combo. I just don't know if you can get all your ammo back. I like getting ammo types back that you put into the demon. That's a good idea.
Then here's my water. I do have a watered down version of it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'll give my BFG argument after that. But so the mathematics I think would work is, so let's say you're fighting a tyrant, and let's say you empty 2 rockets, 2 ballista shots, and then a few rounds of heavy cannon, and then you finish off with full auto. Mm-hmm. Instead of giving you all that ammo back, how about you just get, no matter how many rockets you put in, you get 1 rocket back if you used rockets on him. If you used ballista or energy or plasma on him, you get 20 cells back, no matter how much you used. If you use heavy cannon, you always get 6 shots back. That's enough for a precision shot. And then you get the 9 shells back because it's a tyrant. And then, okay, I'm gonna throw the BFG and the Argent cells in here. You get 5 cells back, no matter how much Unmaker you use. I'll argue the BFG in a second, but what do you think of that in terms of everything else?
Yeah, I mean, I think numbers are something to be played around with when you're talking buffs. I think we're talking main ideas here. Like, putting certain numbers on things is hard to do just because we're not game testing it. But I like the idea. I know what you're doing with the BFG and the Unmaker, because BFG, again, would be hard to get back because you kill everything pretty much instantly. So I understand where you're coming from with that. And the Unmaker, people don't really use the Unmaker, so it'd be a reason.
It would get you to use it, yeah.
Use the Unmaker, yeah. Maybe. You know what I mean? I think that might be, like, Unmaker BFG stuff might be a little game breaking. Honestly, just because when I watch Hugo play the game and I hear him talk about it, they cherry pick where the BFG ammo goes hardcore, you know what I mean? They spend a long time figuring out where they want you to get BFG ammo.
Okay.
So that's kind of like a more of a secret sort of deal, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it counts as like a regular weapon. I just don't know if they could do that. I could see it in like maybe a DLC or something like that, but I don't know about main game kind of stuff. Maybe master level stuff. I don't know. But I like your idea. I like ammo piñata. That's fun. That's a fun deal, because then you're gonna try to get as many different weapons you can in a demon or something like that.
Yeah, I'd imagine that sounds really rewarding. But I mean, keep salvo extender. But like, when I imagine in my head, like, it'd be so worth it after doing all those combos and taking that risk with the super shotgun. Not the super shotgun, the full auto.
Sure.
But in terms of like the Unmaker, what if? I mean, I get that. Like, I don't want to like just give them like free BFG ammo, like the same as 2016 with like rich get richer, but like what if it was like so minuscule, like because you can't use the BFG unless you have 30,
right?
And the Unmaker fires when you hold down the button, it fires the shots like if it empties the clip like really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking like what if it just gave you back like 2 to 5 cells. Like it's not going to give you a BFG shot, but you might be able to like include the Unmaker in like a quick combo if you save it. And like you're not going to be able to use the full auto as a finisher like a whole lot, because there are instances where it's risky to use it. Like I'm not going to use it on a Kako, like 5 Kako demons that are coming at me. I'm going to use a safer move. Right. I'm probably going to use it on like maybe on one guy once in a while. And like you can't use it on fodder because like one Unmaker kills a fodder instantly, so you're not going to be able to farm it from zombies. It's going to have to be from the big guys.
Okay, as long as the Unmaker ammo you get back is always set and always less than what you put in, I could see it just kind of extending the amount of Unmaker you can use.
Yeah, and because we have BFG ammo, it makes full auto more juicier. Like, oh man, I want to use it because like I could get just a little bit of Unmaker ammo back.
Yeah,
just a little bit of like sugar, a little bit of sugar in the recipe. Yeah,
it kind of just extends the amount of time you can use the Unmaker. It doesn't really give you back anything. You can't really like make progress getting more with it. You always are just extending the amount of Unmaker you can use.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think
that's the
a part of me still says no, because it makes the very good players, it makes the game easier for them, and and then the low level players are never going to be able to use it. But I guess it would make the top level players use it so it's easier for them. I don't know. That's a hard one. That's a debacle. That's a conversation.
I know that's what I said. Yeah, I knew it was crazy, but
so I like the idea again. Like you said, the programming, it might be kind of hard for a demon to recognize what different weapons you put in and give you the raw ammo types back only the weapons you shot them with. That might be kind of hard.
I don't think it is, because Hugo said he's able to track like what weapons we use. Like people like to use the super shotgun a lot, and all those stats. So I'd imagine it can't be that difficult.
I think stats and implementing gameplay are different. Because
maybe.
So a rocket explodes. You have to track every demon that got hit by the rocket, and then you can't give that ammo back for demons that didn't get hit. So it might be kind of a nightmare for coding, because then like you have to keep track of that. That's like that could lag the game if like every demon's got to think about what they've been shot with.
Maybe.
Instead of like statistics, like how many shotgun shells did you shoot? That's easy, because then it's not like every demon taking, having to count how many shots they took. Or like how they died, that's one number compared to like having to every demon having to keep track of how many ever different weapons died.
Sure,
I like the idea.
You might be right.
I was
if they could implement it, I was thinking it'd be like, the weak point system where like the program has to recognize that you hit the weak point with this specific weapon. So that's what I was thinking. Like the programming would be something like that. But maybe it doesn't work like that. Maybe it's like. Maybe it's something like if you told Hugo about it, he'd be like, yeah, no, we can't do that.
He would probably say that.
It's possible.
I think Doom Eternal already kind of runs on like thin ice, you know what I mean? When they change one thing, it could break the entire game. So
yeah, you're right.
So,
but like if they could do it, I would be in love with it. Yeah. But of course they're not going to do. They're probably not going to do any of the things we said.
It's just damage buff. Just damage buff. Just put the damage up.
It's gonna be a damage buff. Yeah. Oh no, no more sticky bombs on Hell on Earth. Just melt everything. Yeah. Just melt it. But yeah, everyone. Thank you for listening to our little discussion here. We'll see what happens if anything happens, maybe they just won't even touch it.
Listen, maybe these ideas, if you like one of these ideas and want to promote it and try to get it in the game, we're cool with that. You know what I mean? I think there's still time. He's probably scanning Reddit right now, trying to find out what to do.
Poggers